everybody. Thanks and welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition. Today, I'm welcoming John, who's actually one of my neighbors, and he is the owner of First Service Roofing, and he is John Roberts, the owner. So, welcome, John. Thanks for being on the show.
You betcha. Service First Roofing.
Didn't I say
We just went over this.
Did I say First Service Roofing? I'm sorry.
You know what? It's not the first time. It's not the first time.
It's probably because I'm thinking about what I know, right? Because we just went through massive rain and you were like, oh God, I'm going to be on call here. And then you're like, I was on the phone for like how many fucking hours? And you had to say no to all these people because you're a flat roofer.
You know, I probably said no to, I don't know how many thousands of dollars worth of work because it just you'll never catch this guy on a sloped roof. You know, you throw those big ladders up and you go on those like all the more power to the shingle guys. Like you'll never catch me up there. It's ridiculous. The flat roof, I'm a big guy. You walk on a flat surface. Most of the time you even have a little wall around you. You're just nice and safe. So for me, it's ideal. And then, yeah, like last night was Saturday night. I mean, I was out till, I don't know, 8 o'clock, 8:30 or something last night, just chasing leaks. You know, restaurants are still operating, still leaking. So to them, it's the end of the world. But to us, it's dollar signs.
I'm well aware of that industry because I lived in the restoration industry for a while. So, and it was funny because when I was, because as you know, our neighbor, their little girl had her birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking with one of the other neighbors and I was telling him, I was talking to Trev and I was like, hey, you can borrow my FLIR to go check everything out. Cause we were talking about attic rain in the roof spaces, like in our attics.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, the FLIR plugs into Kelsey's phone and you can just walk around and take a look and see if there's any leakage or anything anywhere. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy to do that. So do you guys have the same thing? Like when you're chasing leaks, like, do you guys have thermal cams?
So thermal cams for leak detection commercially, it's not really a thing. Like 100% of the time, we just have to use our training experience, and there's a lot of factors when you're looking at the assembly of a roof. So everything from what kind of deck it is to vapor barriers to insulations, membranes, so on and so forth will kind of dictate where that leak might be coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Thermal imaging for us is moisture detection, but on dry days. So if we're doing, if we're looking at replacement of a roof but reusing insulation, that's a great example of using the thermal imaging. But for leak detection itself, not really, because if you think about it, the outside of the building, it's raining, it's cold, it's everything's saturated. It's all going to read about the same. Maybe if you go inside the building and kind of view yourself up, you will see maybe a cold spot where the water is coming through. But I would say it's probably very not accurate. It's really not a thing for us. So I know, right?
I'm like, I've done water detection and chasing on a flat roof before, and I've always gone into the bays and looked up with my FLIRs, and I find them. And the cool thing is with those, is because you're not wrong. If I go on top of the roof, I'm not going to see anything. Most of them are metal, so it's just going to show all cold. You're not really going to see as much, right? Or you're going to see where the heat spots are more so. But when I'm inside, I can actually see like the trail. So because water goes where it wants, right? So you could have a leak on the other side that's managed to somehow skip somewhere and then come down a certain way. And then it's the entry point of where that leak is happening isn't actually where the leak is actually coming in. Do you know what I mean? So you could be like on the north side of the roof, but on the southeast side is where the leak is actually coming in. And that's because it's
like rarely where the water's dripping is where the leak is. And I think to kind of go a bit more in depth, I mean, you can look at thermal imaging from the inside and it's cold outside, but then even where your fastener screws, plates, everything penetrate, through the decking, that will also have that cooler temperature actually go through the fastener into the deck. So when you look up, you'll see spots all over the place, but then it's also just a fastener and a plate that's through the roof too, right? So yeah, I mean, there might be an opportunity for it, but I mean, I've been around the block a lot, yeah, and it's just not something that we really practice and really do. But I would say 9 times out of 10, we find it through understanding the roof assembly, understanding the roofing membrane, and just kind of knowing where to look, I guess, and points of failure that are super common, right? So
I feel like all of that was just a really nice way of saying I'm smart enough to find a leak without needing a piece of equipment.
agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
I'm
That's
like,
the safe word.
"Hmm, yeah,
I'm
safe
gonna
word."
use that one on my wife, eh? Said, honey, I have a new safe word now. And then, it'll be funky time, and then she's gonna say something. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
Uh-oh, Amanda's gonna call me and be like, "What the fuck are you teaching him?"
Yeah, pretty much. You just spice things up in my world. Thank you.
Oh God. I don't know. I don't know if I should say you're welcome. She's feisty. She's feisty. I don't want her at my door if she's mad.
I think you're all feisty.
Nah, it's
Uh,
not wrong. So tell me something. You're doing the podcast with me on Sunday. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but I mean yesterday was a wash. We know that.
mm.
But we're doing it on Sunday. And I mean you guys went to church today. So it's like I'm like, it's a Sabbath day. I gotta razz them a little bit. This is our day of rest. What are you doing?
Agree to disagree. No, no. So I like, and I even have the opportunity to be out working today, and I make the point of, yeah, this it being the Sabbath. So us being Christian, it is the Sabbath, so we do our best to exercise that. But in the same token, it's my family day. Like I'll work, especially through the heat of the battle now. We're in the thick of it until Christmas. So it's like, often we're working 6 days a week and we're doing longer hours and we're going, I mean, I need that Sunday to be home. I needed to connect with my family, with my wife, with my kids, my neighbors, my community here that's close to me, right? So,
Mhm.
I use that as a great opportunity to just be home. The fact I'm even doing this with you, you must be kind of special to us, all right? So I'm just saying, I don't know, but this isn't work though. This is just chatting.
Agreed.
Um, but yeah, it's always super important to just kind of hold that really close. I mean, when I first started Service First, it was I didn't have those boundaries, and I didn't I felt I had to say yes to every bit of work that came through. I would never say no. I was always scared of losing customers because I said no, or so on and so forth. But now I have the confidence to be like, no, Sundays are no go, and it would have to be something pretty dramatic to get me out the door now.
Mhm.
So
Oh, I think that's
yeah.
great. And I mean, I wanted to razz you a little bit, but I knew you were going to say something along the lines of that. This isn't work, and it's not. I mean, basically, it's like you said, you're connecting with your neighbors, and I'm one of your neighbors, and I'm just like, hey, let's just have a conversation, but let's just do it so everybody can hear how wonderful you are.
Hmm.
I know we have a great set of neighbors in our neighborhood, and I was telling my producer about like the neighbors, and I'm like, I love my neighbors. Like, if I ever have a problem, being that I'm the only singleton amongst you guys, like that lives on her own with my kids. Like Trev and Ty have been so amazing. They came in the first couple of years that I moved in, and they helped me with so much stuff, moving things for me, and getting things like built for me. And then Dave's come and helped me, and Dylan's come and helped me, and Greg's coming. Like everyone just jumps in and
Hmm.
helps me, and I'm just like, that's an amazing feeling, because especially with, and like, because we're doing this one in June, right? We are June, which is men's mental health, which is one of the reasons why I did a lot of, on my last couple of podcasts, talked about men's mental health, because you guys need to be celebrated. You guys really put your best foot forward for, your loved ones and people that you hold close to you. And so I think that sometimes that gets lost in translation, and sometimes you guys just feel like a robot. So when you say things to me like I'm prioritizing life work, balance, I think that's important, and I agree with you. So I think that the fact you're ahead of the game, especially being a young guy, because you're really not that old. You're actually quite young. You're just
I'm getting there.
you're just a baby.
Getting
Just a
there.
baby. We all talked about our ages, and we all were having like a fire, and I was like, "Oh, you and Amanda, just babies."
We
So
are, and I'm getting there too. And I agree with you. Like if you're not prioritizing those two things, like work life balance,
yeah.
you'll burn out, and we forget why we're doing this crap too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I'm grinding it out for a better future with my family, not without my family.
Agreed.
So to sit here and just grind it out and forget about the entire purpose of it is just like, it's just a sad existence if you think about it. If I were to lose everything but sit here with a company, I think it'd be pretty lame, right? But back to your comment about the whole neighbor thing. So I'm very vocal about this too. I've never experienced a neighborhood like this before. So it's always, I don't want to say like use the word segregated, but I mean more. Everyone just kind of has always kept to themselves in other neighborhoods that I lived in, and moving here was super interesting because again, Tyler being my direct neighbor, just like he's like my spirit animal, right? Like he's just like this
Yeah,
like
you sure bad.
super cool dude, right? Like it's just like I like this guy. He's a Frank the Tank, right? And then moving down the line with Trev and you guys and Greg and it's just there's a lot more to me, right? But you're right. Like if it's a Saturday and we're all out having a beer, and then the next neighbor shows up, oh hey, and they're their kid, and everyone's just like it's really a community.
Yeah.
Not to sound corny and cheesy to someone that's never experienced that before, it really is that sense of community, and like truly blessed to really walk into this community, right?
Well, you guys were meant to be a part of us because I mean, like we had so the owners that owned your place before were part of like I'd spend time with them, not as much because when I moved in, they kind of moved out. Not I think they were only there for like a year, and then they had renters. And so I remember I would
Yeah,
talk to Lori and I'd be like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And I remember Tyler because he'd go hunting, right? And he'd be like, and there was this ongoing joke, and I was telling my producer about it, and I was like, "Yeah, when the guys would go hunting or whatever," and Lori's like, "Well, what about like, what if I get scared or something?" And she's like, and Ty was like, "Call Lisa, she's crazy, she'll come over and kill people." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
accurate.
And it really is because Lori called me one day. She's like, "Dogs are barking. I don't know what's going on." I'm like, "I'm on my way," and I'm like, "You could like if you watch my camera footage, you'd see me walk over there with a baseball bat and like a house coat." Like,
Well, and so have you told everybody, speaking of looking at cameras, all the footages that you may have seen in your camera or not have seen in your camera
no, I have
about
not.
about the full moons and the full moons and stuff.
No, no. I mean, the neighbors
You,
are up, but they all do. Like most of them try and pull stuff like Tyler and Lori aren't the only ones. I know that a few of them have come by and like just given me like flip me the bird, or they'll like automatically like just come in and circle around my drive because it knows it sends all the motion sensors off and
yeah.
I'm looking at my cameras, and then they'll do it a couple times and then all of a sudden I get the finger, or I get like like this one, or I
What's
get like
that?
this. Oh, when you look at it, someone can punch you, the donut, someone does this.
Oh, and you put it below your knee. I'm not looking. Well, I know that you have my bum on there. I think Tyler and I we showed you our bums the one night there. So if you go back and screenshot and put it on here, I'll be somewhat upset. But I mean, it's a pretty bum. So
I didn't even know.
my bum's the pretty bum. I wasn't insinuating anything
I
else.
was so mad when like Tyler did that the first time. He like walks by and he's like waving at my camera, and then all of a sudden he just moons my camera, and then I send it to Lori and I'm like, "Look what you procreated with." And she comes out like the next day and does it, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Start saving all that footage to get at the whole neighborhood's, but maybe even a little ball sack will be showing too. You don't know, like how low do the pants go?
Oh
Right. I'm
my
careful about that part, but
god. Like,
I don't know how inappropriate we get on the podcast here. I am a roofer, so there are some words and stuff I'll say, right?
no,
So
it's uncensored, but that's all I need is to make a King's Heights OnlyFans.
oh, jeez. Well, yeah, okay, I'll leave that one. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. That's a safe word, right? Okay,
Yeah. You fucking crack me up. But yeah, no, I mean, like, you guys all have your. I didn't know you guys actually moved, like you and Ty. I mean, that's so like Tyler. But shame on you, John. What are you doing moving my cameras?
I was influenced. Well, under the influence and then influenced, but it was fun in games. It was to make you laugh, and I guess you did laugh. So,
Well, I just laugh
but I
now.
got a question.
But
I got a question for you. So, how long you been doing this podcasting now?
oh my god! So I started in September of last year.
September last year. So you're coming up to your year anniversary in a couple months.
Yeah.
June, July, August, September, 3 months. So that's when you bring your favorite guests back on and do that reunion tour, right? Your 1 year anniversary, then you bring your favorite guests back, right? Don't they do that? Don't some people do that?
Yeah, some
I don't
people
know.
do that. Some people do that. I'm kind of like a, I don't know, I don't know what the right word is. Like, I'm kind of lax on that. Like, I know that the only thing that I'm set on is because people are all like, you should kind of like mile mark your wins, like when you do 20 episodes, when you do 50 episodes, when you do 100 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, hmm, I'll do 50 and 100. I think I said something on my 20th episode. I think I said something. My 50th is now coming up, and I asked my producer to be my faceless podcast guy to come on because
Hmm.
with me through the whole journey, right? Since I started podcasting, it was him who pushed out the most horrible videos, like horrible podcasts. In my,
Hmm.
he was like, "Just start. Here we go." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, I freaked when he did it, but he was like, I mean, he's the one who's kind of like pushed the go, and then so because he's been with me the whole time, that was kind of something that I think is sentimental to my podcast. My podcast journey is for him to come on and have a conversation with me. He doesn't have to show his lovely face. I know he doesn't. He likes to be like, he wants to be like faceless. I was like,
Or his bum.
put your scary mask. I'm like, put your
So what are
scary
your
mask.
goals?
What's that?
Like have you set goals for your podcast? Like, or like certain viewerships, or how many like, do you have a goal, or?
No, I don't honestly have this huge goal for my podcast. I
Mhm.
will say that I am super grateful that I'm ranking where I am, and I'm super grateful to the listeners that come and follow along my journey and listen to my crazy tangents and have
Yeah.
fun hanging out with me and my guests. Because I mean, I am ranking 126 in Canada right now, and so that's like,
Wow.
yeah, that's super amazing in my subcategory. And for me, that's like, I didn't think that was going to be a thing. To me, podcasting is a hobby. And I think that's the difference is sometimes when you make a podcast your job and hoping you're going to get monetized on it, sometimes there's too much of a push. Whereas I just do this because it's a passion and I love it. And I want to give a platform to the trades to be like, come on and tell me all your bullshit or tell me your story or how you got here. Like, I know that you and your wife, originally came from BC, and I know that I know like lots of little different things about you. And I think that's where people need to pay attention that there's so many different types of people from different provinces and different countries that make up Alberta and make up in the trades, and they all go through similar, trials and tribulations, but then they also have really great success stories. And sometimes it's not like a perfect example of that is you telling me, you didn't know when to say no. Do you know how many entrepreneurs, especially in trades, don't know how to say no? And then
Hmm.
they get advantaged of, or they don't get paid, or someone's like, well, you did this, but we wanted it done. Like, there's so many little stipulations, and you have to go through that, and you have to get to a point as an owner and as a person where you're like, you know what, I would love to make money, but I don't want to not see my kids grow up, and I don't want to end up divorced because I didn't bother to put them on some priority list that makes sense. And that's a really important thing. And not only that, but for your mental health, it's important to connect with Ty and Trev and hang out with them and go do things with them and other friends of yours, right? I think men need to have some more camaraderie amongst themselves. Some guys are just introverted and don't want to do anything. I mean, not you, Tyler and Trevor. Well, I mean, Trev's a little bit of an introvert sometimes, but for the most part, he's pretty.
Trevor's a Trevor's a tough read. Like, and I seen him like an hour ago, and we were chatting. He said, "John," or he was in his driveway, and I was just getting home from church or something, and I'm walking by him, and it was just me, and then I said something, but then he's like, "John, you're killing it, and you're looking good doing it." And I was like, "Thanks, bro. Shit, yeah, I needed that. Was awesome. Hell yeah, dude."
Yeah, he's having a good day. That's Trevor on a good day.
Yeah, well, yeah, on the
Catch
bad
him on a
days is the
bad day.
opposite.
Catch him on a bad day. He'll be like, "Fuck you, bro." No, I'm just kidding.
John, you fucking suck, but you look good doing it. That would be the other side of it, I think, right?
Right? No,
But
he's a good guy.
but I want to circle back to, like you said, so the saying no part, and I've been at this long enough too. Like, there is the art of saying no,
Hmm.
right? And it's, you get going and you feel you have to say yes because you don't know the trends of like future prospects. You don't know when the work dries up, or when, like, you just feel you have to grind it out. You have to do it. You have to take everything. But then, again, year 5, it's like I know the trends, and I know when work is supposed to dry up and when it's not going to dry up, or when it shouldn't dry up. And now it's like, it's a real skill to say no, or not right now, right? These are words like I never knew how to say that. And I would say actually this year being a good year for that. And it's empowering. And it's also like I'm someone that actually lacks or used to lack confidence. in myself. Like I was someone just not very confident. So the fact that I'm able to do what I'm doing, it impresses myself, right? It's just like I'm not very I was just a roofer, right? And then but I had a couple other traits that kind of um helped me along the way, right? Like one, I really give a shit about what I'm doing. It's like I want to make sure that I am a people pleaser to a degree, right? So I want to make sure I leave everyone happy. And then um, people skills, right? We can jump on a podcast and just have frank conversations or and being honest too, right? So there's just and on top of that, being a journeyman roofer and understanding the trade. So I always say this isn't hard. You have your own business as well,
Yeah.
right? Outside of podcasts. What
Yeah.
is it again? You're
LPM Enterprises. Yeah.
LPM Enterprise.
Yeah,
Exactly.
construction consultant.
So so with that being said,
Mhm.
I don't feel like once you break through the matrix, that's what I always the term I use. Once you break out of the matrix, right? You have your 9 to 5 and it kind of just sucks, but you just do it because we all feel we need to do it.
Yeah.
You break out of the matrix, you're like, I'm gonna do this now, and then you do it for a period of time, you're like, dude, I should have did this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it's just like holy shit, right? So and you're kind of in the same boat as well, right? Like, do you wish you did it sooner?
I tried. Um, I've always been kind of an entrepreneur at heart, and so there was a couple of different company ideas that I'd come up with in my 20s and in my 30s, early 30s, that didn't pan out, and a lot of it had to do with inexperience and ego. Like you think you can just
Yeah,
start something and run with it and go. And there was a lot of things that I needed to learn before something would stick. But I mean, even being an entrepreneur, whether you like, when it comes down to it, yes, I'm not like when I sit down and think about all the fucking time and hours I put into somebody else's company to not be appreciated at the capacity I could have been, to be doing other things and making decisions, not just the money that I could have been making, that's probably more than what I was, but just
yeah,
being acknowledged at a different capacity, right? Because when you're an employee, you're only acknowledged by your management team. And if you don't have a good management team, if you have an okay management team, you don't get to hear the same type of praise you do from your clients or from your business associates,
yeah,
right? It's not the same. And that's a big thing especially in our industry, in trades industry. It's one of the big things. It's one of the reasons why all of the teams that I end up working with in construction succeed really well, is because they get a lot of positive feedback.
hmm
And because I find that mostly men, they need to hear that. You guys did a great job today. Thanks for being here on time. Thanks for staying the extra 15 or, half hour. Really appreciate
The
it.
appreciation for men is unparamount from
Yeah.
you. Big
Yeah.
props, girl. Props.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons, why I was able to, you know, like completely just demolish like timelines. People are like, I want it done in 2 months. I was getting it done in a month and a half, or I want to get it done in 3 months. It was done in like 2 months. And people are like, how is that happening? Because I'm constantly appreciative of the workers. Hey guys, thanks for banging it out an extra hour today. I'm going to go buy you guys fucking breakfast sandwiches tomorrow. See you at 7 for the safety meeting. And all of them are there because they know they're getting breakfast sandwiches, because there's no
Mm-hmm.
namby-pamby donuts coming for me. It's like extra sausage, double bacon, freaking sandwiches. And it was so funny because I had one person say to me, well, how come you don't just get donuts? Like guys like sweet treats. I'm like, no. Guys like meat. They want something with sustenance. They will come if it's covered in gravy and meat, they are there. And I'm like, and it's true, because when I'd buy donuts, they were like, oh, no breakfast sandwiches.
It's
And I,
true though. Meat, yeah.
yeah, meat and egg and oh yeah. So, but it always worked. And I mean, like, it's not. I did that for quite a few projects, and I feel that that's a big thing, because people are like, oh, that's just the equivalent of a pizza party. No, it's not, because I'm not billing for it as the consultant. It's coming out of my pocket. I'm doing it in the morning while I'm talking to them. There's lots of reasons for it, and it's not that I'm doing it once. It's not like in like the middle. It's like, oh, you guys did a great job. Let's have a pizza party. It's like, I'm acknowledging that you guys are doing a great job and working extra hard, so I'm going to buy you breakfast. Oh, hey guys, this week you guys did awesome. Take 3 hours early off Friday. Oh, hey guys, you're doing a really great job and we're ahead of schedule. Not only am I going to go out and get you lunch, but I'm also going to let you cut out early today. So as soon as lunch is done, have a nice weekend. So it's
Yeah.
throughout the entire duration of the project, that's what's being displayed to them.
One I found like the kick in the ass that I needed was I was working for a large corporate commercial roofing company, and then worked myself through the ranks, and then ended up in management, and then but I still had a manager above me, and they were and like I don't ever want to be like super judgmental or not honest with myself, but this individual was just incompetent. Like I didn't enjoy it, but they were in that position because the corporate office would just, could have their way with them, right? So, and I didn't really like that at all. And the whole corporate environment, I didn't jive with it. Like I played along because it's a game. The corporate world, I don't care who you are or what it is, it's a game, right? Like, you could have a great idea, but if it's coming from someone that it shouldn't be coming from, it's not a great idea. So that was enough for me to, and then and being a manager, I could see the money that was kind of rolling around and kind of how things worked at that level. And then that was literally, I made the decision just to, both my daughters, like one was just born, the other one was 3, I think it was, and we were barely getting by, credit cards, everything maxed. And I said, the hell with this, we're done. Like, I can't live like this. I'm having panic attacks and just stressed out and not looking after my own men's mental health, right? You could
Yeah.
say. And it wasn't really doing all that great. And then I gave my 2 weeks notice, and then I bought a little service van, and I bought it. I had to finance. I didn't have the money, but I made sure I did that before I gave my notice because I knew I was losing my job, therefore not being able to get a loan. And then right from the day that they let me go a week early. So I was like, and again, that was about 5 years ago. And ever since then, it's just been on the up and up and up and up. So I like to be on a platform like this because I want to tell everyone, like, I am not a genius. Like, I'm not even really all that smart of a guy. Like, I get by, but like, if you just take life by the balls or by the lady balls or whatever the heck you want to say, right? Like honestly, and like I think that the hardest step of starting a business is quitting the security of your current employer, right? If you can get over that hurdle, well, now you're into the fire. Let's go, right? Like you will, like it's fight or flight. Like if you just choose to fight, I think a lot of people make it happen. And lately, I've been noticing an influx in friends and people surrounding me that have literally quit their job and now they're starting. There's a plumber I know, actually went to the same church. He's about same age, and he said, "No, on June 5th or whatever, that's my last day. I'm quitting. I'm starting my own company. I'm going subcontracting, doing this, doing that." Sure shit, he did it. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm like, in roofing, sometimes there's plumbing related stuff, right? Drains, so on and so forth. So I'm trying to find an opportunity for him to help out in that aspect with our company. But and then another one doing drywall and so on and so forth, right? So I think it's like super, super cool when you can just get over the first major hurdle of leaving the security and then of your employer and then just getting out on your own and going,
I agree.
right?
Yeah.
And actually, was it Kevin O'Leary or someone said this too once? He just said, you've heard it too. What is it? A salary is just an attempt at buying your life
License.
or something like that. Yeah, your existence or something, right? It's just like, here's this number. I'm going to give that to you, but I own you,
Yeah,
right?
it's complacence, right? So it's like I'm gonna give you a salary and keep you complacent.
Yeah.
So to inside that job. Yeah. So
But no disrespect to the salary. Like, I don't want to like offend anyone
no,
with this,
no.
right? But I'm just on the other side of the fence, though. Like, there's a whole nother world out here. So,
Well, here's the thing. If being an entrepreneur was easy, everybody would do it. Okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is
sure.
we all need worker bees. Every company needs a worker bee, and there's nothing wrong with it. Those bees are 100% necessary and required. So there are some people that just are happy to sit in an office or are happy to work for a company because of the security and the salary, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that not a lot of them know their rights. Not a lot of them realize that they're giving away free labor, and it's because of how people manipulate in the management roles. So someone like me who comes along and and I will sit there and talk to people because I've had employees and I've had owners come and talk to me, right? So my website should be dropping near the end of June or maybe a little bit later because there's a problem that came up. But anyway,
Oh no.
my
Isn't this the part where like you have a commercial come up now? And this episode sponsored by Virgin. Men's mental health. Get your Trojan.
I love it. No, I'm saying it because my producer is my multimedia guy, so I'm teasing him at the same time because he's like, it'll be done right away. But then there was a glitch somewhere outside of my website that he's got to fix. So I'm just teasing him
Mm.
like it's going to be done sometime.
But then all your podcasts will be on there now.
You
So
can
like your
access them
website.
on there. Yeah, you can. I mean, my podcasts launch on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and then I put like little shorts on like LinkedIn and TikTok.
You
And
have swag. Are you gonna do swag? Toques and hats and all kinds of stuff. Well, the devil advocate. That's what you gotta
yeah,
do, isn't
no,
it?
so well, I have this one's my LPM, and then I do have a devil's advocate one. I do have shirts. I have LPM shirts, and then I'm going to be buying some shirts to put both my devil's advocate and my LPM logos on, so people can find
Mm-hmm.
me. And I'm supposed to be going to a podcast summit in September. I have to buy my ticket for
Mm-hmm.
that still, though. But
Where's that at?
it's in Calgary, so.
Mm.
hmm
But you need like a little headband with the horns,
Maybe.
like
I mean, I
devil,
got some of those. I was the devil like 3 years running.
right? I'm thinking you really like the devil. That's awesome, dude. I
I
think most
know.
girls would dress up as that as in Halloween. That's like the sexy thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, but I
And
mean, like
nurses.
maybe for them, but I wasn't a sexy devil. I was like, listen, I'll kill you. I'm just kidding.
So the not so sexy devil.
You're like the sexy ones kill you anyway. So I mean, like potato,
Just
potato, right?
slowly. Just slowly they kill you, yeah.
Well, have you heard the difference between Girls Gone Wild and Women Gone Wild?
Nope.
Girls Gone Wild lift their shirts and show you their tits, and Women Gone Wild poison their husbands.
You said that with too much confidence. It wasn't funny. It was like, holy shit, she's gonna kill you. You're supposed to be like, da 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 da.
That's because I'm a woman. I'm not a girl.
What's the difference between me and other women? Other women won't kill you. I will kill you. Oh man,
How does your
that's
food
awesome.
taste? How's your food taste? Taste different? Taste different? No? That's good.
All right, back on track. Where the hell were we?
No. I don't know.
Okay, back to men's bed. Oh yeah, Trojan, and
Excuse me.
then I'm lost now.
We were talking about basically work-life balance and employees and how big companies and conglomerates seem to find themselves management that shouldn't be management, and because they're probably yes men to them. But I think the other problem with companies, not all, I mean, they're not all like this, but a large portion of them, especially in trades, you have the people that receive jobs that they shouldn't receive based off of the fact that either they've received the job either because they know somebody or because they're related, or
Mm-hmm.
because they're willing to be the lackey, right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
or they're just really good at manipulating. Like the amount of padded resumes that I come across, and it's so much fun when I come across a padded resume because I will totally call them out on their padded resume. I'll be like, "Oh, you know how to do this?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, tell me." And I'll give like an example of what they need to talk to me about in regards to that trade that they're moving into for construction. Perfect example would be like an equipment operator. Okay, well, what kind of equipment do you operate, right? Whatever. And then they'll tell me. And I'll be like, great, you know what? I just so happen to have the keys to this. So let's go take it for a spin. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. How many hours do you have? Where's your ticket? Do you have your ticket with you? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, just send me your ticket. But come on, I got the machine in the back. And they
This
just
poor
stare,
kid was just trying to get a job.
right? And I'm like, and then they're like, well, I don't think it would be some of them. So here's the fun thing. Some of them will double down and get in the fucking machine and sit there. They'll double down. And then some of them won't. Some of them will be like, well, I don't feel comfortable driving the machine. I don't have the job yet. I don't want to. And I'm like, oh no, 100% liability. I'll give you a liability waiver where I will waive any for you to have any rights on this at all. If you crash it, it is completely my problem. I asked you to do this as part of your interview process. No problem. And they were like, oh, the ones that know what they're doing, just jump in and go. But the ones that don't,
Mm-hmm.
it's fun to watch them scramble. And then I have to do my little spiel of you realize that misrepresentation is an automatic fireable offense. And since you're not hired right now,
You're fired before you're even hired.
like it's like you're obviously not going to get the job, right?
So here, I just had a thought dawn on me. So consider like speaking about the trades and whatnot, right? So I know in roofing, and I assume it's everywhere, it is getting hard to find good people.
everywhere.
Like
There's a labor shortage in
it's
skilled trade.
like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm over here, like, I keep my operations small, margins high. Like, that's just how I want to do it. I don't want to deal with employees and all the bullshit that comes with it. I'm sure there's some really good people out there, but so far I've watched companies come and go, and I'm friends with a lot of other roofing companies, and it's just, you
Mm.
cannot find good people anymore.
No.
Why is that? They're all just doing drugs now, or what? Like, I don't know. I need an answer.
So I can't answer all of it, but I can answer what I know. Um, from what I understand, we've got a few different things. We've got a lot of guys that are now coming into their late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, that their bodies are either broken down. They haven't had anybody that they felt either had the desire or was capable of passing down the knowledge to, or they pass down so much knowledge and then the people take it and then they bounce every 6 months learning different things and trying to be the jack of all trades, but not actually, being an expert at something.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health is a big one that's taken a lot of our guys, not just addiction. Addiction comes some with some of the mental health, but just mental health in general. And then also just people not wanting to deal with skilled trades because they don't have the thick skin anymore. They want the trades to change like right now. Like, we need you to be more sensitive. Like, there's so many rules and regulations that are coming about inside of like OH&S and stuff. So I remember when OH&S when they did the harassment and violence safety inside of your company, so workplace violence and safety, they talked about how they were very clear about what harassment and all that was, but now it is kind of spiraled into something that I think is absolutely preposterous, and that's my opinion. And so when I say that, it's like you and I are having a conversation, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about something rather inappropriate, but it's funny and we're having a good laugh at it. It could be racist, could be prejudice, could be sex, it could be like sexist towards
Those are the best jokes.
well, they are the best jokes. I agree with you.
Mom.
So, but I don't get offended by it. I've been in the industry for over like 20 some years. So it's like, I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I mean, I'm used to this, right? I mean, used to like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hung out with all guys. I was a tomboy. So it doesn't bother me any, but so we're having a good time, a good old laugh, whatever. We're joking around. And then someone with an earshot hears that and they didn't like what we said and they feel personally harassed. They weren't part of the conversation, but they were within earshot. Now both of us are written up and can be fired under harassment.
So just like if someone listened to this podcast, we offended someone and then they're going to try to get us off the air.
Listen, this is free fucking speech. Do your bit.
So so all the old roofing stories you would hear about the old school stuff, they're all true. You get yelling and cursing and swearing. I've been on a fight on the roof before, and this is years and years ago. Like when I started, I was 18 back home, and it was old school tar and gravel company.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and the old boys are yelling and screaming and swinging mops with asphalt and going, and it was super stressful. I just think nowadays, I mean, you put some of these kids in that situation, no, they curl up in a ball and they would be gone. It's not for the faint of heart. So the industry is not like that anymore.
No.
Roofing is not like that anymore. I mean, I would say maybe 1%, the old boy that just won't die. He's still up there just yelling at the young kids, right? But
Yep.
it's not like that anymore. I just, it's a bit of hard work, and the generations are just changing, I guess. Hey, like, I don't know.
It is changing somewhat because we were getting people more like yourself, that's younger generation that went through that shit, doesn't want to put other people through that shit. You just want good work. You want people who are ready, willing, and capable, and that's it. Oh, I got a joke for you, and I know you've heard this. Have you ever heard this one where they say, you're fired before you hit the ground?
Oh, geez. That's like my company's motto. Like, that's service first roofing, fired before you hit the ground. That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah. I don't know if it'll generate any more business, but
That's horrible. I'm a designated safety officer, but I've heard that one. I remember being on site and one of the guys wasn't tied off, and I'm screaming because I always tell people that roofers are the bane of my existence because you guys are so hard to deal with. But I'm dealing with slope roofs. You don't deal with slope roofs. I've walked many flat roofs, and I'm not like tie off. It's a flat roof. But I've on the sloped roofs, and one of the owners like screams up. He's like, "Listen, if you don't hook on, you're fired before you hit the ground." And I was like, you can't say that. And he's like, I had to like walk away because I was laughing. I like spit out my coffee because I was laughing so hard. And then I'm like, listen, as a safety advisor, You can't say that. And he's like, I just did.
Well, and you know what? For anyone that's listening too, that's maybe a younger person thinking about getting into trades, man, woman, alien, whatever. Like roofing, I find like as long as you can work hard and get through some of the tougher elements that you have to work through, the heat and the dry and stuff like that. I mean, in my opinion, it's one of the easiest trades to really excel in, right? Because it's even hard. Like I'm sure plumbers, electricians, they're still probably finding some good people, smart kids that like don't want to work too hard. I mean, we all have electrician jokes, right? They're the ones that paint their nails, and they're
Sparky.
the ones that just, they got their gloves. The roofing's a bit more rougher, right? But so when we get a good guy, we want to keep that good guy. But when you do get a good guy into the trades, they can go far.
Yeah.
They'll work their way up to like foreman in no time, and then it's only a 3-year apprenticeship program versus the 4 and 5s for the other guys. Plumbing, electrical, and all that stuff. But
I think,
um,
yeah, sorry. I think some of the things that happen too is that you've got a lot of people that have never really done the trades like you have, like the hands-on boots on the ground trades, and
mhm,
they're the guys running a lot of stuff. I think that's also really frustrating for trades guys because they're like, I don't listen to that idiot. He's a jackass. He's never fucking swung a
mhm,
hammer. He doesn't know what the capillaries are in the friggin' in this unit. So I mean, like, why would I talk to this jackass?
mhm,
And I
mhm,
think that's one of the other reasons. And then you've also got guys that are like they have zero inclination, like the guys that are coming out of the field and going into the office chairs that have actually swung hammers, they don't like the paperwork. They don't like the amount
mhm.
of paperwork. They don't like the office politics. They don't like the drama. They're like, listen, just like point me to where I can go do whatever it is I want to do. Which also brings me back because you just made a comment about roofing, and I was like, is that your like nice way of saying that roofing isn't really skilled? It's like the easiest job to do.
What's the safe word again? I can't remember the freaking. Agree to disagree. Um, so yes and no. Do you know what? I'll be honest. Well, no, it's extremely difficult, and the reason it's extremely difficult. There's
Teasing you.
there's so there's so many freaking components to it. But so the thing when you get a whole bunch of rain, right? Just like we did. We're a service-based company, so we'll do installs and repairs and like just all sorts of different things on these roofs that it's a flat roof. If you fuck up, if you're off the slightest bit and you have a leak, if you have a leak, you now have a warranty issue. Now you could even have an insurance claim. You could damage the inside. There's a lot of things that can happen.
Yeah.
So if you're sloppy and don't fully understand what you're doing, you'll get yourself into trouble. You'll have a lawsuit on your hands in no time. Like it really doesn't take much. However, roofing, um, it is a bit forgiving. Like it is. Like okay, if you're doing electrical work, I'm pretty sure you have to be pretty damn precise or you're gonna blow shit up. Right? Like plumbing I think would maybe be similar to roofing. Like you do your if you get a bit of a leak, because you did some stupid shit, like yeah, but roofing I think that it's a bit forgiving, but there's a lot to know about it. But I don't know. I mean, sometimes I say a monkey can do it because I've been doing it so long, like it's pretty easy shit. So
Well,
just like hosting a podcast. I mean, come on, how hard can it be? Come
I mean, it's
on.
fucking hard, man.
You got to talk and you got to make sense.
Well, here's the thing. So, I mean, I'm teasing you, but I know that there's different the different types of roofers. There's guys that do rubber roofing, slope roofing, flat roofing, EPDM. You have to be an expert in your products. You have to understand all of the like. You have to understand like you said to me in the beginning, right? You have to understand how it's constructed and where the problems could be and how you're going to fix them properly. I mean, I'm just teasing you. I mean, like a slope roofer, I know that they got to haul like I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I've seen them haul the asphalt on their shoulder up the ladder, and to the roof. Whereas I'm sitting here going, you're a flat roofer. Like, what are you hauling up there?
Well, and to touch on that, like to all my shingle brothers out there and sisters, I don't mean disrespect, but the instructions are on the bundle. They put the instructions on how to install the shingle on the damn bundle. However, you'll still go on some roofs and there's shit, there's shingles blowing off, and that there's no care and attention put. So yes, I think shingling as an art form is like arguably the easiest thing to do. However, you can still fuck it up and you still have to be comfortable on the slopes and around the edges and tying off. Did you know we did a safety thing a while back, and roofing is like one of the most dangerous trades to be in, right? Because there's essentially falls from heights and stuff that are a big deal. I can't remember the figure, but falls from heights from roofing, 99% of them are slope roofers. The 1% was from flat roofing, right? So again, like flat roofing is pretty damn safe too. Like there's really just don't want to fall through the roof. And I'm a pretty big fella, so I'm always pretty weary about that kind of stuff.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But I also think that, excuse me, people tend to be a little bit more careless, or they're too much in a rush, or they have a boss that's barking at them to get things done.
Hmm.
Right. And so, if we're being honest, when you have anchor points and you're tying off, it can hold you up, and that's always been a thing that I've always heard from roofers. But I'm like, here's the thing: if your anchor point and your slack is enough where you can kind of go so far, and then you got to just readdress, because I mean, you put all your anchor points on normally beforehand so that you know where you got to be.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but there's no real excuse as to why you can't tie off. But a lot of roofers, they don't. Like, I just shut sites down. The slope roofers, I just shut sites down left, right, and center. That's why they're the bane of my existence. I always get angry with sloped roofers because I'm like, you guys just fucking tie off. Like, I don't want to have to make a phone call to your family or to your company or to whomever and say, hey, by the way, like, Joey tripped, fell, didn't tie off. Anchor point was there, but now he's like, or on his way to the hospital. I'm not sure if he's got a broken back, because I mean, that's a big stress on guys. Is, like, it's interesting when we were talking about um all the stress you had, how you had all this debt and this and that, and it was like the rigmarole, and you got caught in like this rat race of trying to, like, it's like a circle. It's like you're constantly chasing your tail to keep up with what life and society needs you to be, but you're not being paid accordingly and being recognized in order to get to those points where you can actually enjoy your life. That's like so many men. That's what happens. They get caught in this little rat race where they're chasing their tail, and it's like, oh my God, now I've got one more kid coming. Oh my God, like, I have to stop. So I don't know how many men get hurt and they're the breadwinners, and they're like, I gotta get back to work. And you're like, you need to heal your body. And they're like, I can't afford it.
Hmm.
My family can't afford it. And that's part of the mental health that also comes about. So whenever I hear a guy say, I really want to start my own company, and that's one of the big reasons that I have a lot of men around me in my life that are entrepreneurs, that are bosses, that say, if you want to go out on your own and leave us, that's fine. Let us help you.
Hmm.
Let us, like, like,
Hmm.
there's so much work out here that, and there's a few of those guys, and I love finding those guys that are these, they run really great, really great companies, and they're quite large. And when one of their workers is like, I'm a really great plumber, I don't really want to work for you guys, I want to do my own subcontracting and I want to do this, they're like, hey, here's four clients that are a little bit smaller, and we've just taken on some new bigger ones. And they know you. Why don't you start with them first, and then we'll release the contract with them, and you can go with them. And I'm like, how cool is that?
Hmm.
People get so caught up on greed that they're not willing to do this. And here there's this company that's like, let me help set you up and get you started. What you do with it is ultimately up to you. If you fuck this up, that's on you. But I'm going to make
Hmm.
sure that you have a really solid chance of being an entrepreneur and succeeding. And I'm like, who are you guys? Like, you guys are like bad.
Yeah.
Like, they're super cool. I mean, you'll meet one of them probably one sooner than later. So they run a plumbing outfit, and I hang out with both of the guys, both of the owners. They're super nice guys. I'm hoping that they'll come over for a barbecue with their wives and kids one day. Their girls are close in age to your guys' girls' ages, so
Hmm.
they'll fit right in.
I thought you told me this is a 15-minute podcast. I'm looking to see 50 minutes now.
No,
I
it's like
didn't
an
even.
hour, 15 minutes. Why would I only take 15 minutes of your time? I want people to know John.
Well, I think they know too much. I think I'm going to get hate mail now. I'm, I'm going to have people just not hating on me now. Thanks, Lisa. Appreciate it.
Nah, they're gonna be like, I fucking get it. He'll be like, that guy knows what he's talking about. It's all good. It's
Yeah.
all good. Well, no, I would never make a podcast 15 minutes. I mean, unless I'm doing a tangent, because how long can you really talk for? I mean, I can do it for like 45 minutes, but when I'm coming on to just do a quick like update for people, I usually try not to make it more than half an hour at most when it's just me speaking, because I'm like,
Hmm.
so then I'll like, kind of go off on my little tangents. But yeah, that's about it.
Agree to disagree. Agree
You're
to
right.
disagree.
You don't think I go off on my tangents? Are you just being nice to me?
No, I think it's a super. I think it's you. I like it. I've always kind of dabbled with the idea of a podcast, but I mean, you got to really be into something like that, and I wouldn't have the time. And what would I even talk about? Like,
Whatever.
really?
That's the cool thing about a podcast. It's whatever you want to talk about. So I've done so many podcasts with different people on their platforms, and it's always been like an interview. Lisa, tell me about this. Lisa, tell me about that. Lisa, tell me about this. And I love it. I love when they ask me questions about me, about what I do, about certain things that I'm passionate about. It's a great thing. But for me, I wanted to create a platform for everybody that's in trades and people that are resources, people that are wellness resources or mental health resources, or people who are authors and have gone through things. And the cool thing is that you find out how we're all connected in some way, how we all have similar pitfalls and successes, how we all struggle with similar shit, that at the end of the day, we're just people. And I think that that's a big thing because right now in the trades, we have the highest suicide rate for men. It's awful. And so I'm like, why not just create a platform for them and we can all just come be assholes on it? Like, I don't give a shit, just have a conversation. And I think laughter is some of the best medicine. And if I can hear where you've come from, where you plan to go, and we can just kind of expand or leave that behind and talk about something completely different, then why wouldn't I do that, right? We talked about how you did that. I got tired of this, I moved on to that. But then we also joked around about a couple of other things, and I had to tap out a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
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 And
I
what
remember
am I doing that?
I'm about to get random here. This joke just dawned on me.
Do it.
Did you know that elevators smell different to midgets?
Jesus
So
Christ.
so I
Obviously, hey?
so I was emceeing my father-in-law's, I think it was his 70th birthday. It was like a year or two ago. And so it's a crowd of 70-year-olds, and they made the decision to make me the MC, and I pulled that one out. And it was a hit. It worked out really good. And then I told him, I said, never mix your prune juice with Viagra because you'll never know if you're coming or going. I like that one. That was a good one too.
Those are good
And,
ones. Those
and
are
you
very
like that
good.
one, yeah. Yeah. So I'm really tired. So like I say, in roofing, when we're just hammering down like we are right now, yesterday was a late night, and then on top of getting home at 8, then you have to sit down and do your reports. So I kind of do everything. So I'm doing reporting, and then setting that off, and then invoicing, and follow up quotes and all that kind of crap. So it's really late when you're done. And today I'm just like fucking bagged. Like I am bagged today. I'm kind of tired and just thinking I'm just gonna have a big old nap on the couch, fill my belly, and then back at it all again tomorrow. I think the weather's a little better, so I don't have to stress about rain too much. But we're still gonna get leak calls now, right? So property managers will be back in the building, so on and so forth. And then I'm sure the leaks will kind of fire up again tomorrow. But so that's what's going through my head right now.
Does it, hang on a second. I think I'm going to look at something and I think I'm right.
I don't want
She
to
does.
know.
No,
Oh,
Amanda has an iPhone like I do. I should just show you my Fleer just so you can see it. Because if you ever decide you want it, it's super cheap. It's like $200. It's like, here, I'll
well,
show you.
I
My,
thought you were gonna tell me the weather. I was like, I don't want to know the weather. I'm trying to
oh, let
relax
me tell you
today.
the weather. Oh, I don't know where my Fleer is. I think it's in my truck. My little Fleer. It's in like a little.
Flare?
Yeah, Fleer. It's a Fleer.
Fleer. What's a flare? Tell me.
It's a thermocam.
Oh, your thermal. Yeah, so I currently have the one that plugs into my Android at the
Yeah,
bottom,
yeah.
and then it's the count. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's a Fleer.
yeah.
Doesn't it say like Fleer? FLIR, Fleer?
I don't think that's the brand. If I could have access to my phone, I could look it up. And I do have the. Here, wait, I'll tell you right now. You ready? Here it
Yep.
comes. It
Fleer one.
is called
Fleer one.
Top Infrared. That's
Um,
the one I have. So I think it's better because it says top, right? So it's the best. I used it once.
I
Well, so I've been using actually one a fair bit lately because now we're getting into coatings, right? So they have the PMMA coatings. A few different suppliers offer it. It's huge in the States. Up
yeah.
Canada, not so much, but it's really becoming a lot more popular up here. So you're basically taking an old roof. I don't always agree with it. I think it's kind of a shitty way to kind of remediate things sometimes. However, it does have its place. So where we've been doing it is customers are wanting, like their torch on roofs and stuff, they want to get some years out of it. And some of these manufacturers will give you like a 15-year warranty. So you have to moisture scan the top of the roof, making sure that, you know, there's not holding moisture anywhere. You got to pressure wash it, clean it, and then you basically take the huge 5-gallon pail, put your catalyst in there. Once you mix it up, you have like literally 15, 20 minutes before it's rock hard. Right. And then so you're putting it out and then you're rolling it out nice, and then you put your mesh, so on and so forth. So I have been using the thermal a little bit for that.
Well, then there, see, it has a purpose for you. It's not completely useless.
Like me.
When you were when you were like, I'm not when you were like, I'm not, I'm not a super smart man, and all I could hear was Waterboy when it's like, I'm not what some would call a smart man. So like,
Agree. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
listen, it's off the movie. You said it. I just heard the movie in my head. That's the
You're still
ADHD.
thinking about a midget standing in the elevator with a bunch of people, and he's just at ball level, and he's just having a hard time, and he just doesn't understand, you know, the struggle.
Struggle's
I
real.
don't know.
The
Yeah,
struggle's
the struggle is definitely real. It does smoke different in here, he says. I don't know. And that's no disrespect to the short people.
yeah. Well, I
None.
mean, you're hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually. I mean, it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of true too. You know, like I'm not sure.
Those are the best.
Facts on
Those are the
facts.
best.
Facts on facts.
Well, so speaking of comedy, Nate Bargatze, you ever heard of him? Watch him.
Maybe.
He's from Tennessee. I think he's from Tennessee. Sure sounds like he's from Tennessee. I'm pretty sure he is, but he's that clean comic. Doesn't swear, doesn't do nothing. And I don't necessarily prefer that kind of comedy. Like I really don't care. Like if it makes me laugh, it makes me laugh. And again, being a roofer, we're pretty rigid, or not rigid, rough around the edges. But so but the reason that Nate Bargatze is so freaking funny, in my opinion, is he just jokes about shit that's relevant. Right? Like one of them is, oh man, don't put me on the spot here. I'm putting myself on the spot, but I can't remember a lot of it. But it's like literally, if you watch him, look him up, Nate Bargatze. It's like he's just joking about like when the ketchup in the fridge is at this much, and he's like, blah, throw that out. But the wife takes it and squirts it in. And, oh, now you just ruined the whole new bottle of ketchup. Stuff like that, right? Like it's just super relevant and funny. So highly encourage it. Watch it if you're feeling down in Men's Mental Health Month.
So I'll tell you which ones. Thank you for saying that. I like the recommendation, especially for those that don't want to hear someone swear a lot. I, however, swear often anyway. So my preferred comics are like, what's his name? Okay, so there's like, I do like Kevin Hart. I do find him quite funny. There's
Say
like,
it with your chest, boy.
I think it's funny. I think what I find funny about him mostly is because he does make short jokes on himself. So I think it's hilarious, and like he does make himself a little bit more vulnerable. I've always liked the old school ones like Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. I find them really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Harvey's done stand up. Richard
Jim
Pryor
Gaffigan.
was that
Jim Gaffigan's another one.
okay? I'm trying to think of what his name is. Hang on. There's like 3 of them that I've watched 1,000 times. I also like the female comics as well. There's like I can't pronounce her last name. It's like I think her first name is Isla.
Islam.
No. She's cute. She's
Oh,
blonde. She's cute. And then there's Ali Wong
but
is another one.
there is an Islam something or Islam. She's hilarious though, but I think she. Never mind. Never mind. I'm digging a hole there. I don't know enough of the facts to talk about it.
You're so funny. Here, I've got like so many of them comics that I listen to. There's a few others that I listen to too. There's one guy that I just started listening to, and he's really funny. He's a white guy, and I can't remember his name. Oh, and then there's also Ralphie May. He's hilarious. You ever listen to Ralphie May?
Okay, wait. Don't say anything. He's a big guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the big one.
When
Mm.
he's like, he's like, you see a white blonde woman smoking cools, you know that there's a black baby somewhere. I'm just like, and I have to laugh, and I think that's what makes comedy so. But what I love about comics is when they take stereotypes and they just exploit them because stereotypes exist for a reason. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I always like. And then it was funny because I was sitting there looking at my Facebook feed today about all the reels that are on there, and there's all these accidents in Calgary right now that people are posting. And the first thing I think of, and it sucks because I lived in Calgary, like I've lived in Calgary pretty much my whole life. So the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, it's the Northeast again. It's Northeast. Oh, it kind of looks like Forest Lawn. Oh, that kind of looks like
That's
Dover.
racial profiling.
Right, but it's funny because when I go into the comments, the first thing is like, "Oh, where's this in the Northeast today? Oh, what part of the
Yeah,
Northeast is this in today?" And I'm
yeah.
just like, I'm not the only one, like the whole comment section is like that, or oh, that looks like Forest Lawn. Oh, that looks like Aaron Woods. I'm just like,
Mhm, mhm.
but it's true because it exists for a reason. Like those things happen commonly, and or I'll like write like that looks like District 4, fellas, for like the police districts as a joke.
Well, circle back to the comedy thing. So my wife and I went to a comedy show, Calgary. I'm trying to remember. It was quite a while ago. Well, say 5 years ago, and they're just no name guys, but they're pretty good. They're up and coming, but they were just no name guys.
Okay.
And the one guy, I laughed through his whole set because he was joking about something again relevant. And when my wife and I were trying to get pregnant, we had issues getting pregnant. So she she had to get tested, and then boom, I had to go get tested. And I didn't know actually what that meant. So I learned that that was me going to the big building. They give you a cup, a
Mm-hmm.
big cup. Every dude knows you ain't filling that cup. And if you did, I mean, you probably impregnate a city. Like it's just like there's a lot to go in that cup. And then you go and they give you and they once they give you the cup, it's like, okay, room 3 or room 5 or whatever, and you just walk in the hall and go in. And I kid you not, you turn the corner and you go into your room there and you close the door. There's a leather chair, a little table, and then a TV with porn, and it's playing. And I'm like, this is fucking odd, man. Like, and it was like some retro, like got the music going, all the shag carpet around. Like, it was like pretty bushy stuff, man. Like, it was just so unusual. I've never seen this before.
Brown
So
chicken,
then,
brown cow.
pretty brown chicken brown now. So then, yeah, more or less. And then, but then, like, we live in, it was like 2020, so we had technology in our hands. So I was like, well, I could do better than that. So then, but then you do your business, and then as a man, you're like, well, how do you do this into a cup? Like, that's something you've never done before. You never need to do that thing into a cup. So again, as a man, like if you think about it, you got to like really figure
What,
it
would you
out.
guys pee in a cup? Like, how do you guys pee in a cup? Isn't it the same thing?
That's a good point. A pee in a cup. Well, no, but
I
you're
mean, like,
not.
it depends on what kind of guy you are. I mean,
Yeah,
like, you
wait,
can
wait.
put the cup up
No, no,
here if
no.
you wanted.
You're not erect when you're peeing in a cup, right? So things are difficult when you're at attention because now it's rigid. Now it's going in one direction. So, but you got to like figure that part out. Peeing in a cup's simple, right? You pee in bottles, you can pee wherever the hell you got to pee. But
Yeah.
so my point is, I'm getting off track here. So when you finish your business in the cup and then you bring it up to them, and then they just kind of look at you, look at the cup, and kind of just feel sad for you, right? Because they just see like you're not producing much, and then you automatically think you're the reason you're not getting pregnant with the wife.
Yeah.
And then they test you, and then it came back super sperm. I had super
Super.
sperm. I was shooting through like metal plates with that stuff. It was really
Watch
good. So
out.
they
Look at you
they put the
bang.
wife on some pills, and we were pregnant a few months later. So
There you
that's
go.
my story. So this comedian was joking about this. He was talking about how there's that couch and how there was no sanitary wipes. There was nowhere to wash your hands. And I was like, holy shit, you're right. There wasn't. I didn't wash my hands at all there. And I sat bare ass in the same leather chairs like the other 50 people that day. It was kind of gross.
I mean, was the chair sticky?
Well, it's leather and bare bum. Yeah, it was a little sticky from what I remember. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
I think it was.
a lot of DNA in that chair.
This is where Theo Vaughn could really come up with some funny stuff, eh? But
He's like, listen, don't give me fucking trauma.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Well, I think but that's what I love about comedians is when they take real life situations and scenarios and they make a joke out of it because you can laugh at it, especially if you've been through it, like you just said, right? Like, I mean, I
Mhm.
talk about being like, I listen to comedians, like there's the one that I really like that I can identify with a lot, even though we're not the same culture, is Joe Coy, because he talks about growing up as a mixed kid. And he talks about having like the ethnic parent and what that's like. And I'm like, yes, accurate. And people are always like, oh, was it really that bad? Like a perfect example, when I was over at Ty and Lori's yesterday, and he had his cousins over there, and one of them was like, oh my God, women are so rude to their mothers, and they do this and they do that, and they talk back. And I'm like, oh yeah, are they all white? And he's like, oh, that's a good point. They all were. And I'm like, yeah. Kids with color in their skin don't talk back to their parents because they want to live. So
Because their parents have inflicted a lot of trauma onto them.
no, if I didn't answer yes, daddy, not like if I said yes, it was not good enough. If I just say yes, daddy, and if I didn't say yes, daddy, a belt I could hear come flying off his waist. And it wouldn't matter how hard or how fast I could run, that man caught me. So it was all on how you answered. And it didn't even have to be rude or disrespectful. It was just, that's not how I taught you. That's not how I raised you to answer me. That's not how I raised you to speak to me. And I'm just like, but I didn't say anything rude. I just didn't say
Um,
daddy after it.
Don't even get me started with child abuse stuff. We could go down that rabbit hole for a long, long time here.
That's,
I'm an open book, but there's a lot of stories, man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You've kind of tapped out on me a few times. I was looking for some stories. I'm messing with you. You know what that means? It means that you're probably going to have to come on my podcast. So there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I love
Yeah.
having you guys run. I'm hoping Kels will come on the podcast, but if she doesn't, that's okay. I love what she does because she's in HVAC. So
Mhm.
I know, and she's done so many things, just amazing. She's got certifications and accomplishments, and she's traveled with her company, and she's done a lot of really great things. So I would love to have her come on. Yeah.
You know who would be super cool to have on? I mean, they're not necessarily in the trades, but Lori and what she does.
Oh, I know, right?
Okay.
I don't know if
That's
Laura would go
super
on though.
unique.
I feel like I want to do Lori on there's a certain month that I want to have her on where it's like I think I'm going to have her on probably in September just because it's Truth and Reconciliation Day. And I
Yeah.
think that's where it is. It's on the 30th of September, but I want to have her on in September because of what she does, right? So she is just so everyone can know because they're all like, "Who's this Lori and what does she do?" So
Yeah.
Lori is amazing. She works for a non-for-profit. It is Missing Children in Canada, and she is an amazing person that helps locate your children and get the word out there to help locate your children when they go missing. So she's a very, very important person that a lot of people don't know because she's behind the scenes. And yeah, she would be amazing. I don't know. She might be like, "Listen, I don't want people to know who I am."
That could be a thing, but I'm also like, I'm so blessed to have her as a neighbor because I'm like, well, heaven forbid everything. She's, she's watching, because she sees the worst of it, so she knows she's watching. Like our kids are all playing, she's watching.
It's not
She's
even just
keeping her
that.
eyes on everything.
What I love about Lori, it's the amount of intel that she has based off of a situation. So I gave her a situation a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "Sounds like this might not be all that I don't think you're getting all the information. It sounds like X, Y, and Z. Sounds like try this, try that. I can help look into it for you, but to me, this I've seen this a lot lately. Maybe this is what's going on." And I didn't even think about that because I was so caught up in the moment of helping a friend find a friend or helping a friend find another friend's child. And I only had to tell Lori like a few things, and she was like, I don't know, doesn't sound right. And so then she would tell me like how to kind of look for it because, like you said, this is what she does all day,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
I think that that's an amazing quality to have and skill to have is that when people go to you and say, "My child, blah blah," she only needs so much information before she's able to direct where to go, who to talk to, and if you have talked to them based off of their response, what are you not telling her?
Hmm.
Right? So
Yeah, and
she's a little mini investigator.
they were celebrating some milestone too. Again, this is all her story, but yeah, they were celebrating a pretty big milestone, or the whole company or whatever. And but no pressure, Lori. If you end up watching this one and you want to go on, no pressure. But it's super unique. When I found out what it was and what she was doing, I'm like, dude, like, good for you. And I think it's super cool.
I know. I love that she does what she does and she's our neighbor. We collect her.
Hmm.
And she's amazing. Like she's just such a fun, cool chick. So
Very much so. Very
yeah.
much so.
But then
Well, I'm
so
out
is
of stuff to
yours.
talk about. So what do we do now?
Oh,
Safe word?
yeah, no, we're gonna wrap up. So it's all good. We can do like I show you something and then it's like word prompt. I'm just kidding. We're gonna wrap up.
Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
Oh God, here we go. It's like your new favorite thing now. Amanda's gonna kill me. Please don't
Hmm.
send her to my house. I'll just come over and apologize. I'll just walk over and apologize. So, but yeah, thanks for being on the show, John. I super
Hmm.
appreciate it. I love hearing from not just my neighbors, but just different people in trades. And thanks for just jawing with me and having fun and telling jokes and stuff and shooting the shit. I appreciate it. So, Let's see, what else do we got to say? In regards to the next few episodes, I've got two more coming on. And as I talked about the last time, there will be a gentleman by the name of Adam coming on probably right after John. So, and he will be in July that will be dropping. So, I can't even talk. My bandwidth is gone. So thanks again, everybody, for joining me on Devil's Advocate for this episode. And make sure you guys have a wonderful week and don't do anything crazy.